is named Sukhasana. Sukha is easy versus dukkha, which means to suffer. And there's enough of that. So don't suffer while seated. We won't be here too long, but you can certainly sit on your blanket or cushion, or I've been showing this trick with the towel noodle, lifting the knees and putting the blanket right, the towel right up against the mid shin, and horseshoe, pulling the ends over the tops of the feet. So there you have it. And then, once again, if you haven't glided your sit bones back, come and sit, and you can come to roost. So pitch back and forth a little left to right with the eyes closed, and just feel the sitting bones and where you bear weight on them, because these will be important. We are working on the feet today, and the feet of the pelvis are the sitting bones, right? So most of us will tend to sit on one more than the other because our one hip will be tight. I would say 90% of the time the right hip is tight, the left hip is loose and weak. So don't struggle to try and find symmetry, but just be aware of it. And then rock forward and back just a few times, which you may be doing quite a bit of these days if you're watching too much of the news. So here, again, with the eyes closed, you're just trying to feel that the sitting bones are like the legs of a rocking chair. And we can be on the back side of the sit bones if we lean back and slouch a bit. And then if we pull forward with the hands and lift the chest, we can be on the front of the sitting bones. And just do that a few times. So basic stuff. But as we come into forward folds, which we're going to do quite a bit of today, see what we can do. It's important where you are in your sitting bones when you take a forward fold. So if you're too far forward on the sit bones and then you try to lean forward, you may tear this point, the insertion point of the hamstring, sit bone, and that's about 1.5 years heel. We don't want that. So now allow the body to rock back and forth and release it like a child's toy. Release the outer hips and feel, with the eyes still closed, your plumb line, your vertical plumb line occurring naturally. You need to sit in a chair, that's fine. And then in that vertical axis, called the Sushumna Nadi, a little bit of trivia, but you could think of it as a large tube as you inhale down that front line of the tube, down to the base of the spine, and then exhale, imagine the breath rising up the back of the spine over the top of the head and back into the nose. So inhale, belly, ribs expand, and exhale, imagining a recycling of the breath. Begin to create a little bit of Ujjayi Pranayama, if you're familiar with that. If not, you'll have an opportunity to practice in a second. For now, just fill the oxygen tanks. And even though the ribs are lifting and spreading, and most people think as they inhale, everything's coming up. Let this be a light floating up as you intention your breath downward into those sit bones. Hold the next inhale, feeling the floor, and maybe even a sense of lifting the pelvic floor. And then release and imagine the upward lift of the spine as the breath exhales. Inhale once again. Chest lifts and spreads, floats, but you're feeling a sense of pushing down to go up, pushing down into the sit bones, pelvic floor, which can engage slightly, and then release. This time open the mouth, like a fogging up the mirror breath. Inhale. Helium upper body and pushing down like a pogo stick. Hold the breath, and now one more. Hold, maybe draw pelvic floor up. Exhale, lion's breath. And lean forward as much as you can, placing the hands or all the way onto double fists. Breathe. Walk the hands back. Inhale, come up. Let's switch sides. You can find the core. We've been doing this here on the backs of the sit bones a little bit in Navasana. And now you feel the tone of the belly as you cross to the other side. Inhale, chest is rising. Breath or energy, tension going down. Scoot the belly in and push into the sit bones. Exhale. Spill forward, maybe just to here, and experience the breath in this pattern. Or take it lower. Inhale, come up. Now find a way, it could be a simple figure 4 like so, to look at your left foot. And now something very weird, if you've never done it, you're going to thread your fingers in between the toes. It's Sunday, so we can do some odd things. And if you've never done this, it could be painful as your toes get jammed. Do your best job. And then you're going to be rotating first just plantar and dorsiflexing the toes, curling them together, and then opening, using the hand to gently work. And then you can go in little figure 8s or circles with the ankle and the foot. Okay? You can work those fingers in between the toes. Good exercise. And then you'll find that you'll be able to, if you can see my toes now, spread apart. Let's switch feet and take the right foot, thread the fingers through, if you can. Some people who get pedicures know how this feels, and then you can pull the toes back toward the knee, and then the other way. So just gently, and then you can make little circles with the ankles. So the feet are super important for yoga because they're the base of operations. The feet get squished in shoes too much. Not so good. So then again, you can feel the toes more open if you extend your legs and feet forward. You can spread the toes and pull them back toward you as you inhale, and then push toes back. Just do that a few times. So when we do standing poses today, I want you to feel this. Now with your knees a little bit bent, maybe you can even slide your blanket on your knees. You can feel as you just work with, let's say, the left foot, and maybe even taking your strap. It's all preliminary material around the ball mound. That as you push the big toe mound forward, can you feel that left low belly right about in here? attenuating. So we're everting the feet, pulling the outer edge back toward us. And we can even cross the strap and pull with the right hand to help do that. There's a sense of big toe mound to inner belly. And then if we switch that, pull with the left hand. So now we're inverting the foot, it's kind of tilting in. Can you feel the lengthening of the outer hip? Right? We're going to work with that a little bit, pulling and feeling how the connection of the foot through the inner and outer knee and inner and outer hip can have a profound impact. Just try the other leg for a second. And then we'll get started putting this into practice. So again, you can use your strap, but don't go too much. Push with the toe mound. See if you can feel the inner leg right up to that right. It's rising of the psoas muscle actually, and then invert. So the knife edge of the foot is talking forward. People will stand differently. Some have collapsed arches. And so that's an issue we'll talk about. Let's go onto our backs with this strap. If you need support of your low back with a towel, you can, but keep the crossed strap orientation and the strap around the ball mound. Let's go back and we can do this push me, pull you operation. So I'm working with the right leg now. And as if I pull on the left cross strap, so the inner edge of the foot is pointing more to the sky, I can lower the leg over to the right leg over to the right. Feel the lengthening inside the leg. And strengthen the muscles of the legs all the way up to the hip, through the knee. Come back to center, switch, pull on the right arm and point, collapse the inner arch. And then you can start to go over just a little bit. You'll feel the IT band as you go to the left, the right leg. Come back to center, holding both strap ends now with a symmetrical inner and outer arch. Inhale, pull the right knee toward the right shoulder, elbows head toward the ground, and push back up. And we've done this before. We're going to the elbows part and try to go to the floor as the knee bends, and then you're off and running with a little bit of warm up. Then can you walk your hands higher up the strap, bend your knee toward your shoulder, and kick the heel toward the sky, pull the toes back, and get a little deeper stretch while being mindful of that right sit bone. And some people can even bring their heads up. Let's release, uncross the strap, and put both feet in for a second. And then switch. So the right leg drops and the left leg is extended. Cross the strap, make a little simple cross. And then eversion, inversion. You don't have to remember these terms, but basically collapsing the inner arch and then pointing it up by pushing and pulling. Now, when the next time the big toe mound pushes up, by pulling on the left side of the strap, then you can take it over, maybe even lay your left elbow on the ground and lengthen that inner leg. Inhale, come to center, pull on the right. So that the knife edge is pointing up, and just come over a little bit to the right and stretch the outer channel of the leg. Okay, come back to center, even it out, and then pull the elbows apart, strap toward you. So knee bends and then kick and be dynamic. One more. And then you can walk the hands further up the strap, pull the knee in toward you, kick the leg a little bit behind you, and point the heel to the sky, being careful about how much you're stretching. And some people can come up who don't have any neck issues if you're going to touch. But still morning, so take it easy. Uncross the strap, bring both feet into the strap, hug the legs together. So now you have the inner legs hugging, but now break, slide the feet apart, push the outer edges into the strap. And now we feel the strength of the outer legs. Good. Take the strap off, hug your knees, and just roll on your low back a little bit, little circles. And then some of you may need the strap here as well around the feet again, or just hold your big toes, come to a supine Baddha Konasana. And we've done this in the past. You're just going to pull the feet toward the head, inhale, exhale back. Now we're just scrubbing the low back. And go slow. Let's hold the knees, rock and roll back and forth, holding the outer legs. Come up to seated, and then standing. So, grab your rolled up towel, and it's about 3 or 4 inches. And you're going to put it so that you're just in front of the heel, like a bird on a wire, right? And now spread, look down and see if the toes are still able to spread apart. So activating the arch of the foot. And then we can reach up and grab the left arm and bring it over to the right. Pushing down into those towels and then switch so that the feet have what would be called a bandha. I mentioned Uddiyana Bandha. So you come back to center, bend your knees, and that's the pulling in of the low belly, right? So you could take a forward fold here with your high-heeled shoes. Now come down to Malasana. You can take the toes out or the feet wider if you need to. Play here, or hands forward, lift the heels way up. So now if you are in the ballet, Bolshoi ballet, this sort of plantar flexion is not unfamiliar. Other people, especially if you have plantar fasciitis, this is not such a happy exercise. So take it easy, try it a few times. And then come down, forward fold again. Bend the knees again, chair pose. And then coming up to standing. Here's where if you have the tennis balls, you can step on the same place in the right heel. Otherwise, you're going to just use your towel so that one leg, and this for me is my right foot, it's just in front of the heel. My left foot is planted down. Tennis ball would be more intense. You're standing again just in front of the heel and squashing. And trying to pretend you don't have anything. Reach up as before and hold the left wrist, bring it over, got the wrist like that. And push down into that towel roll or tennis ball. Inhale, come back up. Step off the towel of the tennis ball. Close your eyes and feel if you feel any sensation in the leg channel. So this is a good way to open up the entire leg, shockingly. So now you can either slide your towel roll over to the left, stand on the right foot. Same thing. Reach up, grab right wrist, take it over to left, or you're stepping courageously on the tennis ball, squashing, engaging the legs and coming up and over. Take a few breaths. I'll move back so you have a little bit better view of my arms. Come back up and then step off. Now feel if you're not a little more grounded. So with all that's going on, staying grounded is super important, and the feet are really one of the places to be. And now we're going to take ourselves briefly to the wall, and you can have a chair in lieu of the wall, and do just a wall downward dog warm up to start with. So if you don't have the wall, which you can place your hands against, walk away, bend your knees, brighten the upper arms away and the chest, knees bent. Inhale, exhale back. Do this a few times. You could be holding the high back of the chair. Inhale and exhale. As you do this, I want you to feel the feet. You can even look at the feet here. And as you drop the knees, feel the toe mounds press. As you extend, feel the heels connect to the earth and connect to the sitting bones. And take about 5 breaths in your wall dog, pushing forward, tucking the belly slightly in. Inner thighs roll back. On inhale and exhale, pushing the heels into the ground. Bend your knees and come up. So you might need a chair on the left side of your mat to bring your foot up and take a simple warrior one, or start to reach up and climb the wall. If you're working without a wall, you can be doing this just like this. Okay? And if you're working without a chair, you can bring the knee up and put the knee into the wall like that, and then stretch up. I've got this nice top of the doorway that I can actually pull. Good, and so let's switch sides, all sorts of options. And you're either taking your foot onto the chair or putting the shin into the wall by virtue of pressure on the back foot. And then seeing how far into the wall you can go. So can you come away from the wall and just balance on your right foot and swing your left leg like so. If you need the wall, you can have it, but just swing. So feel the back line lifting you in the front line. Okay, so those that want a little extra, instead of just swinging, swing forward, hands kick back, and then come up. like we did before. So swing back, warrior three, Dekasana. Feel this entire back line, right up the sit bone with the heel pushing, and then swing forward. Try it a few times, and then when you're ready, just swinging the leg this time. My right leg. So I'm feeling how I withdraw and then pull up using quad, front and back leg, fairly simple. As I go back, I might be able to do something like this. And we have the lunge, mid-air lunge, the option of coming up. All sorts of games to play. If you're working in a chair, be here, and then just straightening the front leg, sliding the toe forward. Or you can hold the chair back like that, and just tap the chair like that. So a few more times. Having done that, can we try warrior one, either close to the wall or not? I'm using the wall, but you don't have to. Utkatasana. Now step back with the left foot and feel warrior one. So we already have the virtue of the hands pushing into the wall. Bring your arms out like this. Sink a little lower. Hug the inner thighs as you inhale, and then express the heels and reach out. Arms come down, feet step together, and stepping back, other foot. Reaching up. Feel like you're horseback riding. The inner thighs rolling back, and then the outer hips to heels. Press out, roll the palms, and then there you are. So pretty easy so far. Now can we take the right hand to the wall? It's almost like we're in bar class. And then if you have the left foot in front of the right, can you just do this simple side swing? Now you're feeling, this is generally the weak side of the left leg. Okay. And then just try the other side. Okay, so let's step into a warrior two. You have the wall, it's fine. Toes would be right up against it. Okay. And then come into side angle. So take the right forearm across the front knee. And then if you have the wall, take the upper hand to the wall. Push some weight into that back heel. And feel the toe mounds. You inhale, push into the earth, drawing your transverse abdominals in. Exhale, roll the sit bones down toward the heels, press into the heels to firm the pose. Inhale, feel the toe mounds, track up the inner legs into the belly. Exhale, push. Inhale, come up. Let's take the feet to parallel. You can put the wall foot against the wall. Inhale. Again, the toe mounds as you rock forward, pulling in like a kangaroo pouch. And as you fold, exhale, push the heels out. Take the hands to the ground. Now, You can work on a chair as well, hands to earth. When we descend, we're gonna just bend into the left knee a little bit. And then we'll bend into the right. So you can just work modestly in Skandasana, or you can start to take this lower. It's the morning, so take it easy. Then, see if you can feel the inner legs from the arches where we were standing. Pull up like foot bandhas into the belly. Exhale, fold, maybe grabbing the ankles. And it's an endless breath awareness of feeding the breath into the feet, as if you were an oil rig drawing up energy from the feet into the body. Flat back, hands to hips. Inhale, come up, let's switch sides. This time, right toes to the wall. Back foot at about 90. Warrior two, and then side angle. Modified or all the way. And push into the wall with the fingertips or palm. And feel that back heel ground. Inhale, toe mounds into belly. Exhale, sit bones toward heels. Inhale, come up. Kick your left heel to the wall if you have it. Hands to hips. Look at the inner and outer edges of the feet now and make sure they're equal. And front and back equal. Toe mound, taking or tracing a diagonal line to outer heel. Inhale, rock forward, bending the knees, as if we're about to lift the heels, but lift into the low belly. Exhale, fold, kick back into the heels, descend. Inhale, flat back, and then start to take Skandasana. So you can go as low as you want and let the feet feel the texture of the floor, right? Even it off, one more forward fold. And then coming up to flat back, soften the knees, weight is forward. Exhale, hands and hips, push the sacrum down to the heels. The sit bones go down and come up. And then turning forward, step the feet together. From here, hands to the wall, and step back, or use your chair, a wall downward dog. Bending, pushing, maybe getting lower and lower until at last we'll all arrive at normal downward dog, hands to the floor, feet back. Now you're going to bend your knees, walk your entire body into the wall, placing some portion of the back into the wall. Leaning into the wall, lifting your heels like we did before. Feel the pulling up into the pot of the belly. Exhale, lower the heels down, allow the spine to descend further. And repeat, inhale, lift the heels. And exhale, heels down. Do that about 10 times, dropping the spine lower as I refill my water. coming up, walking the feet away from the wall, and then knees bend, come up. So now we're going to take our towel roll and go away from the wall. And at first, this is an interesting experiment. As you curl the toes under, you're going to take the towel roll into your belly. And we'll take child's pose, kicking the toes out, knees wide. Coming up, if it doesn't bother you, take your towel, slide it under one knee and the other, and walk it back. And maybe yourself forward to the tops of the feet. So Virasana, now we're dorsiflexing. We get even further forward. Some will not like this. I have a few students who can't dorsiflex because of injuries. Some people love it and they can even lift one knee and the other, and we're stretching the anterior tibialis. All good. And then coming forward and coming to toes pose, toes tucked under. And now you can take the towel behind you toward the wall, particularly if you don't have a wall. We're going to come to high heel down dog, placing the hands, walk the feet onto the towel in the same position we had the tennis balls with the towel, and flex the feet. Then come down to hands and knees and watch. So some of you are just going to go back and forward onto your towel, like that, to feel the action of the feet. Others can accentuate what we did earlier, stretching the legs, take the left foot up the wall, push into it, three-legged dog. And then switch sides. If you don't have a wall, you can just do normal three-legged dog. Up you come, maybe just a little, but if you get the full extension of the leg, and then coming down. Even if that's not possible for you, it may be possible to do the next move, but we'll see. So hands and knees, you can take the right foot back. And just push, maybe floating the left arm forward. When you feel that back line tighten, don't go too high. Let's try the other side. And maybe the opposite arm floats forward. And then everyone can try a plank pose with their feet down, or trying from hands and knees. Super plank. Pulling the belly in. Child's pose, saves you. Now I'm offering different levels, so the next thing is maybe only to watch, but those that don't have shoulder injuries. We're going to do the same leg up the wall from downward dog, but watch first. I'm going to be taking one leg and then the other leg up the wall, looking forward. And now I play with the value of handstand. Again, that's for advanced people. And others who are even more advanced, And now turn around and do your handstand full against the wall. Others, I want you to simply lay down and do your handstand, pushing your hands into the wall and toning your legs as if you're horseback riding. Again, handstanders, you can take your handstand here and play. But the legs are toning in the same way. Okay, so let's turn and face the wall again. And now we're going to come pretty close, stepping the right foot back, pressing into the wall, and begin to straighten front leg, lifting the toes. I don't know if you can see my toes are lifting off the ground to retract this left hip. And then you can start to go down with the legs moving apart to your degree into Parsvottanasana. It's nice to push against the wall or even the floor to get the weight in the back foot. From here, come up halfway again, or use the wall. As we take triangle pose, the left hand could go to the shin, you could grab your chair, and the hips keep square as you take your right hand to your hip, rotate. Now, if you have the wall, it's really nice because watch what happens. I'm going to take those left fingers out and rotate the palm and lay the head on it. And I tone the belly from the big toes, drop the sit bones, push into the wall. I'm creating a line of strength that I could then take the left hand to the shin and lift up the right arm, or even push it into the wall to get back in the feet. Let's bend the back knee, lift the heel, hands to wall, and set our back knee down to low lunge. Kick the toes out and sink down. Get close enough to the wall or your chair, your high back of your chair if you're using it. Place the hands up the wall. So pretty close. Scooch into the wall. Lunge. And then can you walk the hands on a diagonal, the outside of the front knee, the left knee. And push into that back shin to lengthen it. Now we're stretching the quad, the psoas. Good. And we can switch sides without ceremony. Sinking down, keeping the hips square, reaching up, and then walking the hands over on the diagonal, reaching across the front knee, pushing into the back shin. Back to center and switch. So same thing again. Now, if you want a little bit of extra credit, watch what happens for those that have the leg up the wall in a wall standing split. Can work here or watch. I'm going to have the foot about, front foot about. Foot and a half from the wall. I place my hands forward. I lift up and I start to lean into the wall.
as we did earlier. Bend the front knee, come down, and switch sides. Everyone else is towards the beginning phases. You're just doing this lunge, stretching the back leg. But if the back leg has been stretched now, some that are more advanced, move away from the wall, 1.5 to 2 feet, and then lean into it. And you can stretch the backs of the legs. Come down. Let's try a downward dog. And then bring your feet together, lift your left leg high, bend the left knee, roll open. And can we come into half pigeon facing the wall or the chair back? I'll show it both ways. So if you don't have a half pigeon, I'm going to give you some options in a second. If you do, you can drop a little bit at first. And then if that feels good, fine. Otherwise, we can play with the hands in the wall, pushing gently back into the pose. If that's not possible, you are perhaps on your back, like so, working this. Or, I showed this the other day. And I'll show you a better angle. I'm working on just taking the knee out like that. And then eventually, you could come into a chair version of half pigeon, which is pretty nice, actually. Right? Can be supine or lifted. So those are the options. Now let's switch to the other side. Take our downward dog. And then lifting the right leg high, opening. And then coming to half pigeon. Front shin is about 6 inches from the wall. You can fold a little and roll that right hip a little forward. Come up and play here. The same options are true here as we did in the lunge with the diagonal reach across, which helps the actions of the back leg. Again, you need to work on your back, holding your shin, that's fine. And those working in a chair, and hold the chair back. And take the knee out. And then if it's plausible, toe heel across. And find your half pigeon here. A few more breaths, and we've been priming the legs. And then a downward dog. So given all sorts of options, chair dog, and normal. Let's come down and take a few forward folds before we move into the close. And I'm thinking of at least demonstrating or having you guys do modification of Hanumanasana, which is rather bold for some. So here we are in Dandasana now, and we're working the dorsal line. So remember I talked about the sitting bones, and most people who do yoga are going to tear this insertion point. So, if you're just throwing yourself into the pose and pulling, you may tear. If you pull the knees up a little, then reach forward, grab the big toes, first 2 fingers, or round the sides of the feet, which I'll show in a second. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, the elbows express out as you go down, being mindful of the low back. Again, the big toes pushing forward as if against a wall. You even do this with your feet against the wall for texture. And then as you exhale, feel the heels glide forward and the sitting bones glide down. As you inhale, come up. I could be taking the feet, so I have the fingers outside the outer edges and the thumbs on the tops, just below the toe mounds, and I'm pulling and pushing the feet to parallel, which they often don't get to. Inhale and then exhale, either with knees bent or sliding the legs forward gently, pulling toes back. Inhale, come up, and let's take 1 foot into Janu Sirsasana. Reach up, and again, you can bend the front knee. Descend. As you do this, if you're roughhousing with your body, you'll lose the sensations of the inner and outer leg, connection of the big toe mount to the psoas as you inhale. And exhale, the heel to the sitting bone. And then switch sides. So we started with foot awareness and inner and outer edges up through the knee and the hip. Try to keep them. You could use a strap here. Inhale, push into that toe mound, pull the belly back, and then down you go. Coming up. Let's stand briefly before we close, and I'll show you, if you have a holster, you can grab it, or a towel roll, or a couple of towels, to create some structure, some support. Those that are more beginners, what I want you to do is descend onto your back and repeat the extended leg postures we did earlier, or those that would like to do the one leg up the wall, right? Okay, but now I'm going to show you with the towels, but initially, for safety, with a chair. If you had somebody in your household who needed to be working in a chair for the postures, right? This could be the way to go, and I'm showing you my left leg forward, my right leg back. So this is nice. And I can do all sorts of postures here, which maybe one day we'll do. For now, can you start to use the chair to lengthen the back leg, lifting the heel, and then sit down and see if you can hold the front leg up like that. So you're actively engaging the quad, which you're going to need in Hanumanasana. You can do that a few times. Lean forward and lift the back leg, and then see. Okay, then you can switch sides. So if you're a beginner, most of you could still play here, pushing, straightening, and lifting. Pushing, straightening, lifting. Inner leg, outer leg. those that want to try to come into Hanumanasana, being very judicious. This is for a few people. The rest of you are now setting up to lie down. And here we have, for those that are advanced, the head on the bolster. The left leg lifts, the knee bends, a bit of a quad stretch. You come forward, drop onto the back knee, and you start to go back and forth. And front leg, back leg. Eventually, stretching for those that have the flexibility, sitting, so the left sit bone's on the bolster, toes, back toes can kick out or not, and the hip flexor, the right leg is here. So you're only doing this if you're cursed with flexibility and you are engaging front quad. Okay. Any sorts of folds. If you find yourself in hot water, you can roll off to one side like that. And then briefly before we close, I just want to play to the advanced people, opening, coming forward, take your lunge back and forth, and testing it out. So you can slide to lift the front toes. If your legs say, and we're trying to square the hips, engaging the front quad and the back hamstring. Those sorts of folds here. And again, you could spill over. It's a quick release. Okay, so if you've done that, for you, symmetrical pose, forward fold, seated or not, then we'll move toward legs up the wall, or simply lying in Shavasana. So you could use your bolster to snug up against the wall. Those that would like a shoulder stand, headstand, you can do that if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, get your right hip close to the wall, sling your legs up, and position the bolster in the arch of the low back. Relax. And you might be able to feel even here, to see your feet arrive at a natural position, the pattern of your legs and feet. And don't fret if they're different. Any sorts of leg patterns up the wall you prefer, crossing your shins. They feel good. Baddha Konasana. Straddle split out. And so take a few minutes to find the telegraphing of the legs. Maybe feeling a little more readily, especially if you were to place your hands to your belly, that what the legs do and the feet do telegraphs all the way up the channels into the front and back sections of the low waist. So it is important to feel sensations in the feet and how they telegraph, crashing against my chimes. And so now we'll take the feet together, roll off to one side, and carefully come up seated. And see if you have a little more foot awareness as you sit. Taking whatever support you need. Again, rolling from left to right. And then forward and back. And then letting the spine, as if floating in a jar,
fluid. Float without too much effort. So feeling the feet of the hips, the sitting bones ground. Palms to heart. Thumbs to third eye, gently